Good evening. I am Miriam Abdulkawi, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight. We'll take you to city gas stations where consumers are feeling gas pain, and we'll tell you how much government gets out of every dollar you pay for a gallon of gas. Plus, a cop turned alleged triple murderer, Elmer Na, closer to a verdict than ever before. We'll tell you what happened in court today. Also, the price of chicken gone up again. You'll hear why and learn how it will affect the cost of a plate of food. These stories and much more are ahead on 7 News tonight, so please stay tuned.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The roads of Belize connect us all. Riders, drivers, families, friends. Every day begins with a little routine and the confidence that life's journeys are protected. From school drop-off through the daily grind and everything in between, each with different roads ahead, yet one common goal: to arrive safely. Atlantic Insurance stands with Belize's riders and motorists with affordable protection, support, and peace of mind for the journey ahead. For the roads we share and the lives we protect, Atlantic Insurance is by your side, ensuring you from life's unexpected. Atlantic Insurance, ensuring you from life's unexpected.
Easy. Accessible. Safe. Yours. Digi Wallet. Easy, accessible, safe, yours.
El rotavirus es una de las principales causas de diarrea acuosa severa y vómitos en niños. Puede causar deshidratación severa y hospitalizaciones. La buena noticia es que la vacuna contra el rotavirus ya está disponible. Se administra por gotas orales a los 2, 4 y 6 meses de edad. Protege tu bebé. Visite hoy su centro de salud más cercano.
$4.3 million was paid for legal and professional fees in relation to Petrocaribe. And another $4 million is projected to be spent every year for the next 3 years. $16 million in legal and professional advisory fees. What we done with Petrocaribe in 2016.
The government's blue bond carried another $85 million in transaction costs. That's tens of millions more in legal and advisory fees. So who's collecting?
Show those fees!
Exposed by Freedom of Information requests, the government admitted Courtney Coy LLP was paid $227,000 on just one disclosed contract. How many more are there? So while millions of dollars are being spent, the Prime Minister is begging Washington for help securing our borders.
It is important that we get the necessary assistance, especially from the United States. We need equipment. We need intelligence.
But there's no shortage of millions for legal and advisory services.
Who is getting those legal and professional advisory fees?
It's time to come clean, Mr. Prime Minister.
We have centralized systems of corruption in this government.
Imagine, a ref calls a technical on LeBron, ejects him, then walks to the bench, puts on a jersey, and checks into the game to take LeBron's place. WTH? That's what happened at the central bank. First, Kareem Michael was a deputy governor for financial supervision, basically the referee for the banks. And while he was in charge of that department, Choice Banks' license was cancelled. Not too long after, Mr. Michael resigned from the central bank and went as a paid private contractor to run the shutdown of the same Choice Bank. When he was finished, he simply walked right back into his old job at the central bank. Who does that? An arrogant Belizean public servant who knows all and thinks he's too big for his judgment to be questioned by anyone.
Glenfield Dennison was caught trying to charge BTL for negotiations on behalf of former workers.
He insists he never charged the workers group a cent and claims the invoice was only a negotiating tactic.
If the invoice was just a negotiating tactic, why would Dennison ask BTL to pay the legal fees as part of settlement? And if BTL had agreed, who would have received payment? Dennison, of course, because he sent the invoice the day after the last negotiations to be considered with the 4.5% interest requested by BCWJ. What's worse, the cost of legal work submitted is grossly inflated. Those are senior counsel rates, and Dennison is not a senior counsel. As to the tax identification number on the invoice, no such TIN number is registered with GST, so we must also ask whether he is licensed with the FIU as required. There's also the question of whether as a Crown Counsel Dennison violated the public service rules which state a judicial and legal officer shall not engage in any private legal work or private business of a legal nature. It's time for him to stop the games and come clean.
4.3 million was paid for legal and professional fees in relation to Petrocarib, and another 4 million is projected to be spent every year for the next 3 years. 16 million in legal and professional advisory fees. What we done with Petrocarib in 2016.
The government's blue bond carried another 85 million in transaction costs. That's tens of millions more in legal and advisory fees. So who's collecting?
Show those fees!
Exposed by Freedom of Information requests, the government admitted Courtney Coy LLP was paid $227,000 on just one disclosed contract. How many more are there? So while millions of dollars are being spent, the Prime Minister is begging Washington for help securing our borders.
It is important that we get the necessary assistance, especially from the United States. We need equipment. We need intelligence.
But there's no shortage of millions for legal and advisory services.
Who is getting those legal and professional advisory fees?
It's time to come clean, Mr. Prime Minister.
We have centralized systems of corruption in this government.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
In a democracy, what is good for the government cannot be bad for the people. And what is good for the people cannot be bad for the government.
We came a long way. It's like over 16 years that it was basically like 2-3 houses in that area.
It was wild.
One high bush
like jungle. I want to take my lick. Say no water, no light. I tell her no about that. We have figured it out.
You know, you wonder how long it will take for this to happen.
A year ago, you were considered squatters.
We made a picado and we came in.
I made a teenager.
Everybody said it was swamp. When we get in here, it was like gold.
Today, you're landowners.
Very
this that for we, and we proud of this.
Now we are claiming our house on the land.
We have worked so hard to make this happen for us.
This is a beautiful day, folks, because we are taking care of the people who have taken care of us. Because we wouldn't be here today without you.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We begin our newscast with one of our top stories tonight, where last night we told you about the midnight jump in the price of fuel. And today, the hard reality has settled in. The pump price of regular and premium gas has broken the $13 mark, and diesel fuel could be next. This grim reality has left vehicle owners and businesses with serious gas pain. And we went to a couple of gas stations today to find out how acute it is. Here's more.
Last night, vehicle owners rushed to gas stations to try and fill up before the 10% increase on premium and regular gasoline came into effect. And while they realized some savings, today it was pure gas pain at the pump.
Honestly, I don't really know how to feel because due to the economic change based on the war what happening in the Middle East, this is bound to happen, to be honest. So I don't know how to feel. It's just basically we have to go with it, I guess, until they come up with a specific change.
It's unbelievable. It's incredible that I don't know how the Belizean people get by with the amount of fuel costs, along with everything else.
Man, it's definitely one gas pain with the giveaway because cost of living done high, you know, and gas price going up about nearly $13 now, right? Something like that. I don't know what else to say about it, man. We can't do nothing about it. We just have to cope with it. We hope that the price go down back soon.
I'm happy about the gas price because I read about no problem for we because we are taxi. If the gas price raise, we have to reach the price down. Some of the customers in the bar say the price high, so we have to negotiate with them and try to standard so they can ride because if we keep free price, then I want to ride.
How do you feel about the gas pricing?
I feel bad because I know it raised 2 weeks ago and it raised again. And when January say, and drop the gas price. And finally win it, everything going up.
And while they're feeling the gas pain, most accept that it's going to get worse.
I would pray not, but the way how things are aligned right now, trust me, it may get worse. We just have to prepare ourselves as Belizean, as a third world country, I should say, being affected by what is happening, because it's worldwide.
How bad does this affect you personally? Like, how much money more you think you have put in at this?
I just sent my money for trying to get a business like a bicycle.
It's very possible. Paying attention to the Middle East and all these conflict and things out there that already create this problem for we. So I think it's very possible. The man said, I keep the street closed. So if the street keep closed, they said the gas price might go to $250 US per barrel. So it will be higher. It's very possible. I hope it don't, but we'll have to wait and see, no?
What are the adjustments that you would have to make if you go up again?
Well, I'll probably have to ride my bicycle more and park this car because it's very difficult.
Yeah, you worry about them. We hope that the war will stop maybe in a week or two and then go check on balance and go back to normal. But until then, we have pay the price for the gas as we have to run.
And if it not go down, what do you see happening with your business?
Well, you have less riders, so people start get more bicycle and use bicycle or get the van more anything else because then we are charged more cars for the price have to change because the price of gas high. Yes, it will get better.
So what will happen to this vehicle if the price go up one more time?
I must have to stop driving and walk.
I don't see them getting any better.
So how do you think that this can affect you in your vehicle?
I'm getting ready to spend about $200.
And how much did you used to spend before the increase?
Well, years ago, about $140.
Gas price they gone up too far. That's all I could say.
And you'd expect worse?
Yeah, well, in terms of expect worse for the politician business and they own vehicle, you know. I would do vehicle. When I get there, I get there. But at the same time, they take me time. You get a sense?
So when your friend tell you that you need to put towards the gas, you understand why?
No, man. I stay put towards gas, mama. Nothing. Yeah, when the girl need for happy, they need for happy. But yeah, you understand where they come from? But yeah, I got me 10.
For now, the conflict in the Middle East continues to choke the world oil supplies, and locally, the pressure of choosing between comfort and affordability continues. Teresa Roberts, 7 News.
And as we told you last night, premium fuel increased from $12.53 to $13.76, which is an increase of $1.23 per gallon. And regular saw an increase from $11.77 to $13.02, which is a $1.25 increase per gallon. Again, those are prices in the city. It is higher out district. In Punta Gorda, for example, a gallon of premium fuel is at $13.98, just about $14 even. But how much of that is taxes? Well, Jules Vasquez has an analysis of last year's tax take, and it was consistently high, which, when we looked into our archives, puts the Prime Minister in a delicate spot. Here's more.
When premium and regular gas broke the $13 mark at midnight, it sent a shock across the economy and had vehicle owners lining up at fuel pumps late last night. It's a direct consequence of the conflict in Iran, which has caused a massive spike across global energy markets. And in Belize, where the 10% increase has made it clear that government will not decrease its tax take to give consumers a break. An analysis of last year's 44 price adjustment shows that on average, government's tax take on regular fuel was 41%. On premium, it was 45%, and on diesel, it was 38%. The government took its biggest bite from the pump price in December, when world oil prices were the lowest in a decade. That peaked at a 48% tax take on premium gas on December 30th and 44% on regular gas at the same date. And in February and March of 2025, the world price of fuel and the landed cost dropped by 24 cents. But did the savings go to consumers? No. Instead, the government raised its tax take by 24 cents to keep the price locked at $11.68 per gallon, while the windfall went into that government purse. We don't have the breakdown yet for the latest sharp increase in pump prices, so we don't know the tax take and the landed price. But we know that it puts the Prime Minister John Briceño in a difficult position, since in 2017 and 2018, he publicly, stridently campaigned for lower gas prices.
The government is overtaxing the Belizean people on fuel.
Briceño was opposition leader then, and he even joined a public protest against the high cost of gas.
We are here as citizens of this country. A call was made out inviting all citizens to come out, to speak out or to show and to demonstrate their displeasure with the government of Belize over the high cost of fuel. But we felt that it is important for us to show as a citizen that we are totally and completely 100% dissatisfied in the high cost of fuel.
And at the time, he had stern advice for then PM Dean Barrow.
He needs to reduce the tax by at least $2 so that we can keep the price of fuel under $10. This is unsustainable, this is unacceptable, because the burden that he's putting on the Belizean people is just way too much. We are at a breaking point.
Well, we are right back there. At that time, the price per gallon was hovering at around $11. It is now at $13. And those feeling gas pain would urge Briceño, politician, listen to thyself.
The cost of basic goods continue to rise due to the increase in the cost of fuel. With each new shipment comes another increase, and the Prime Minister keeps collecting, or should I say, he keeps sucking more and more from our pockets in taxes on fuel. Government can and should immediately reduce the tax on all fuel. How can our productive sector grow when an important cost of production, fuel, continues to rise?
The pump price of diesel is expected to go up soon as well, possibly with the next shipment of fuel. Meanwhile, tonight, police have one man in custody pending a charge of murder for the shooting death of 27-year-old Clinton Powell. He was targeted in a violent shooting on East Colette Canal yesterday morning, where as many as 30 shots were fired from what is believed to be an assault rifle wielded by a gunman on the back of a motorcycle. The SPU was in the area and set chase immediately. They shot the alleged gunman, 40-year-old Ryan Barnett, off the back of the scooter. Both he and Powell died of their injuries shortly after at the KHMH. The man who they believe drove the motorcycle jumped into the Hullover Creek and escaped. But later on, a 21-year-old was found inside a parked bus, and he is detained tonight pending charges. And despite efforts to dive up the assault rifle in the Hullover Creek, police have been unable to recover it. And we take a break now, but when we come back, we'll tell you about the increase in the price of chicken. It's not much, but restaurant owners and eateries say their prices will have to go up. You'll hear both sides. Stay tuned for more news.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
For any project, big or small, Best Screws provide strength, efficiency, durability, and affordability. Get the screws specifically designed for your next project. Get Best Screw, the power to build, the strength to last. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Finally, a postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, texts, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio, 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a Trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
$4.3 million was paid for legal and professional fees in relation to Petrocarib. And another $4 million is projected to be spent every year for the next 3 years. $16 million in legal and professional advisory fees. What we done with Petrocarib in 2016.
The government's blue bond carried another $85 million in transaction costs. That's tens of millions more in legal and advisory fees. So who's collecting?
Show those fees!
Exposed by Freedom of Information requests, the government admitted Courtney Coy LLP was paid $227,000 on just one disclosed contract. How many more are there? So while millions of dollars are being spent, the Prime Minister is begging Washington for help securing our borders.
It is important that we get the necessary assistance, especially from the United States. We need equipment. We need intelligence.
But there's no shortage of millions for legal and advisory services.
Who is getting those legal and professional advisory fees?
It's time to come clean, Mr. Prime Minister.
We have centralized systems of corruption in this government.
Imagine, a ref calls a technical on LeBron, ejects him, then walks to the bench, puts on a jersey, and checks into the game to take LeBron's place. WTH? That's what happened at the central bank. First, Kareem Michael was a deputy governor for financial supervision, basically the referee for the banks. And while he was in charge of that department, Choice Banks' license was cancelled. Not too long after, Mr. Michael resigned from the central bank and went as a paid private contractor to run the shutdown of the same Choice Bank. When he was finished, he simply walked right back into his old job at the central bank. Who does that? An arrogant Belizean public servant who knows all and thinks he's too big for his judgment to be questioned by anyone.
$4.3 million was paid for legal and professional fees in relation to Petrocarib. And another $4 million is projected to be spent every year for the next 3 years. $16 million in legal and professional advisory fees. What we done with Petrocarib in 2016.
The government's blue bond carried another $85 million in transaction costs. That's tens of millions more in legal and advisory fees. So who's collecting?
Show those fees.
Exposed by Freedom of Information requests, the government admitted Courtney Coy LLP was paid $227,000 on just one disclosed contract. How many more are there? So while millions of dollars are being spent, the Prime Minister is begging Washington for help securing our borders.
It is important that we get the necessary assistance, especially from the United States. We need equipment, we need intelligence.
But there's no shortage of millions for legal and advisory services.
Who is getting those legal and professional advisory fees?
It's time to come clean, Mr. Prime Minister.
We have centralized systems of corruption in this government.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
En Atlantic Bank, tu comodidad es nuestra prioridad. Nuestro centro de contacto está diseñado para mejorar tu experiencia bancaria. Con una amplia gama de opciones de servicio al cliente, ahorras tiempo y esfuerzo. Puedes llamar fácilmente para bloquear o desbloquear tus tarjetas de débito y crédito, realizar consultas de cuentas y acceder a información detallada de tus tarjetas. Ya sea que necesites asistencia con la banca en línea, apoyo para comercios o consultas generales, nuestro equipo está listo para ayudarte. Para mayor comodidad, si todos los operadores están ocupados, puedes dejar tu número y un operador te devolverá la llamada lo antes posible para asegurarse de que recibas el apoyo que necesitas. Para mayor seguridad, es posible que necesitemos verificar tu identidad con un conjunto de preguntas sencillas. Recuerda, Atlantic Bank nunca solicitará tu nombre de tu usuario ni contraseña de Atlantic Online por llamada telefónica, mensaje de texto o correo electrónico, asegurando que tu información personal permanezca segura y protegida. Nuestro equipo de apoyo está disponible de lunes a viernes, de 8 a.m. a 6 p.m. en inglés y en español. Simplemente marca al 223-1212. Esta es la línea dedicada para nuestro centro de contacto. Atlantic Bank se compromete a brindarte un servicio excepcional y las herramientas que necesitas para administrar tus finanzas de manera conveniente y segura. Aprovecha al máximo nuestro servicio del centro de contacto.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
By now you know Crown Counsel and Senator Glenfield Dennison tried to collect $183,000 from BTL for what he said was free advice to former workers, and when he was exposed, he claimed the invoice was just a negotiating tactic.
We knew they would leak it.
Well, no one needs to leak the hefty payments he demanded and collected from the People's Constitution Commission, because that's a matter of public record. Dennison demanded and collected a total of over $86,000 from the PCC for participating in a process which presumably for him was a matter of civic duty and patriotic honor. But like his senatorial colleague and fellow activist Sheena Pitts, Dennison does nothing for the country and people without collecting. So now you know, the philanthropic senator raked in $86,000 from the People's Constitution Commission. That, definitely, was no negotiating tactic.
And if you didn't know, now you know.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We continue our newscast with another top story. Former police corporal turned alleged killer, Elmer Na, is 3 months away from hearing the verdict in his triple murder trial. Oral submissions or closing arguments were made this morning in the trial of 40-year-old Na, who is accused of killing John, David, and Vivian Ramnares on December 31st, 2020 in Belmopan. Na is represented by Dr. Lyndon Jones and the Crown by Special Prosecutor from Jamaica, Terrence Williams. Dr. Jones gave a 16-minute oral submission asking the court to return a not guilty verdict for his client. Jones explained that the Crown has only proven that a terrible crime occurred and not that Na committed it. Dr. Jones questioned the credibility of the witnesses and of Vivian Ramnarese's statement she gave prior to her death. The prosecutor Williams gave a 20-minute oral submission in which he stated that her identification of the shooter cannot be deemed as fleeting. He added that he believed the defendant gave a different version of the story. Williams appeared virtually while Na and his attorney appeared in person before Justice Nigel Pilgrim. And continuing with our top stories, chicken is one of the most affordable forms of protein in the daily diet of many Belizeans. And tonight, the price has increased by 6 cents per pound, or $3 for 50-pound crate, that is. Since the price hike, food vendors have warned that the increased overhead will force an immediate adjustment to prices per plate. Today, our very own Jaleesa Roberts got both sides of the story and filed this report.
The per price pound of chicken has gone up. And while it seemed like it happened overnight, the manager of the Belize Poultry Association explains that this has been in the pipeline for about 6 months.
The last price increase that we had on our products was like 5 years ago. All right. So it's not like we're trying to recover anything from the prices that are swirling around us right now. We're simply following our strategy that we have in place, that we try not to increase prices like sporadically, but plan according to how the production costs swirl around us. It was being thought out for the last 6 months or so. We're looking at it, and we decided that early this year it would be implemented.
And the reasoning behind the increase, the farmers need to get that return on investment.
Stakeholders are our farmers.
Yeah,
Our
as
farmers
in
need,
the
our farmers
farmers.
need to make more money. I mean, it's not like they're making a lot of money out of it. I mean, the profit margin for our farmers is very, very small. And they are a diversified group of farmers, so they don't really depend on just one industry for their income. And that is why we are able to move along the way we do. That's the reason for the price increase. Yeah, it has to do so that the farmers can recover their cost of production as well. You know, the wholesale price went up by 6 cents, and I know the retailers had already put an increase before our increase.
And the increase will inevitably be passed on to the price of a plate of food. City eateries told us that the price increase is inevitable, as poultry is simply joining the list of all the other things that have seen an increase.
It will impact drastically. Everything is a ripple effect, because the gas at the pump went up last night, no transportation and everything is increasing. So when it comes to small business owners like myself and others, we have to do a little raise now. We just have to continue, keep the food nice, have the correct ingredients every time, consistent ingredients, and maybe we could just take off a little piece of the chicken, because the chicken went up. So if you just used to get 3 pieces, it's 2 pieces, we could work out something and let the price remain the same. But, some people is a big eater and, so it's their choice when it comes to that. If you want the same plate or raised price. Chicken is the cheapest meat in a whole what people could afford. So increase on chicken, I don't know. And also household. Sometimes people have a lot of kids and even in the car back they increase. Everything increase.
The price increase of everything is affecting our business. And now just today, out of the blue, yesterday we ordered chicken. Nobody told us that we had an increase with chicken. Delivered this morning, we got the bill, it was increased. And I was so upset. I'm like, you guys can't just do that because it affects us. Our prices can't just, our customer comes here and say, oh, guess what? The price changed today. then we won't sell anything. It's going to affect us a lot because we're barely making a profit as it is right now.
What are the options that you have on the table right now, being that you'll need to adjust to this type of change?
If things keep on going up like it is, Tony's will probably close its doors just like a lot of other business.
But COA is striking back by saying their increase is unjustified. And per crate of chicken, a $3 increase should never cause an increase on a meal.
They have always said that, and it won't. That's the biggest misstatement that they can make. Because let's look at it. You buy one whole chicken, okay, let's say you are paying what SIB says, $3.25 a pound retail. We increase it by 6 cents. If the retailer adds that 6 cents to the consumer, that would make it what? $3.31. Right? Per pound.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to a restaurant, how much do you pay for a plate of food?
Between $10 to $15, rice and beans,
Exactly.
basic food.
Exactly. So how 6 cents will move that needle up? Because you don't get a chicken in the rice and beans. But they have always used that excuse because the last time we did the price increase by 5 cents, we got the same backlash that, I have to increase the price of my food, I have to increase the price of tacos, I can't sell tacos $3 again, I want to sell it $2. Come on.
A dispute between suppliers and businesses when ultimately consumers will have to pay. Jaleesa Roberts, 7 News.
Meanwhile, in another story, a former deep-sea treasure hunter at the center of one of the world's most famous shipwreck discoveries has been released from prison, but hundreds of gold coins reportedly tied to a trust in Belize remain missing. Tommy Thompson, the scientist who located the historic shipwreck SS Central America, was released from prison last week after spending nearly a decade behind bars. Thompson became internationally famous in 1988 after discovering the wreck of the steamship often referred to as the Ship of Gold, which sank in 1857 during a hurricane while transporting treasure. The disaster claimed the lives of more than 400 people and resulted in thousands of pounds of gold being lost at sea. The discovery of the wreck was hailed as one of the greatest deep-sea recoveries in history, with treasure valued at tens of millions of dollars eventually brought to the surface. However, the story later turned into a prolonged legal battle. Investors who funded Thompson's expedition sued him in 2005, claiming they had not received their share of profits from the sale of recovered gold bars and coins, which reportedly generated more than $50 million. Well, Thomas claimed he turned 500 missing coins over to a trustee in Belize around 2009 and has repeatedly said he has no clue where they are now. And now, even with his release, the fate of those 500 gold coins allegedly linked to a Belize trust remains unsolved. And in other news, the PUC has moved to strip BTL of its ability to independently adjust prices, effectively locking the company's rates for the next 33 months. In a major regulatory intervention following its declaration of BTL as a dominant operator, the Commission yesterday announced the implementation of the Belize Telecommunications Transitional Tariff Freezing Regulations 2026. Under the new rules, which are already in effect, BTL is prohibited from raising or altering its services or its service rates through December 31st, 2028. The freeze covers a number of areas, including bundle services. And this transitional tariff freeze is a direct consequence of the PUC's March 10th determination that BTL holds market dominance in nearly every sector of the Belizean telecommunications landscape. So, what does it mean for the possible acquisition of SpeedNet? Well, That part is still unclear, but the regulations are effective immediately, and BTL must now operate within a fixed revenue ceiling for the next 3 years. And we take a break now, but when we come back, we'll take you to a Reef fair and we'll look at Women in Art 2026. Stay tuned.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Compulsorily acquire Stake Bank Island.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
This government used its power to take land from a Belizean developer to give to a foreign company.
And those are things that the U.S. government takes really seriously.
Washington noticed. They've been watching. So when the Prime Minister went begging for help,
Especially for the United States, we need equipment, we need intelligence.
But Washington's response? The United States invited 12 Central American and Caribbean heads of state to discuss border security. John Briceño was not invited. What does that tell you?
They're willing to be aggressive and do whatever they can against these individuals who are taking these actions in these countries.
Secretary Rubio have the Department of State assess the current state of rule of law, judicial independence, and property rights protections in Belize.
Drop it like it's hot.
Glenfield Dennison was caught trying to charge BTL for negotiations on behalf of former workers.
He insists he never charged the workers group a cent and claims the invoice was only a negotiating tactic.
If the invoice was just a negotiating tactic, why would Dennison ask BTL to pay the legal fees as part of settlement? And if BTL had agreed, who would have received payment? Dennison, of course, because he sent the invoice the day after the last negotiations to be considered with the 4.5% interest requested by BCWJ. What's worse, the cost of legal work submitted is grossly inflated. Those are senior counsel rates, and Dennison is not a senior counsel. As to the tax identification number on the invoice, no such TIN number is registered with GST. So, we must also ask whether he is licensed with the FIU as required. There's also the question of whether as a Crown Counsel Dennison violated the public service rules which state a judicial and legal officer shall not engage in any private legal work or private business of a legal nature. It's time for him to stop the games and come clean.
4.3 million was paid for legal and professional fees in relation to Petrocaribe, and another 4 million is projected to be spent every year for the next 3 years. 16 million in legal and professional advisory fees. What we done in Petrocaribe in 2016.
The government's blue bond carried another 85 million in transaction costs. That's tens of millions more in legal and advisory fees. So who's collecting?
Show those fees!
Exposed by Freedom of Information requests, the government admitted Courtney Coy LLP was paid $227,000 on just one disclosed contract. How many more are there? So while millions of dollars are being spent, the Prime Minister is begging Washington for help securing our borders.
It is important that we get the necessary assistance, especially for the United States. We need equipment. We need intelligence.
But there's no shortage of millions for legal and advisory services.
Who is getting those legal and professional advisory fees?
It's time to come clean, Mr. Prime Minister.
We have centralized systems of corruption in this government.
I'm Randall Friesen and I manage Westville Produce, better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high-quality, locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported, and we said, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly, and just overall, their service is excellent.
By now you know Crown Counsel and Senator Glenfield Dennison tried to collect $183,000 from BTL for what he said was free advice to former workers, and when he was exposed, he claimed the invoice was just a negotiating tactic.
We knew they were leaking.
Well, no one needs to leak the hefty payments he demanded and collected from the People's Constitution Commission, because that's a matter of public record. Dennison demanded and collected a total of over $86,000 from the PCC for participating in a process which presumably for him was a matter of civic duty and patriotic honor. But like his senatorial colleague and fellow activist Sheena Pitts, Dennison does nothing for the country and people without collecting. So now you know, the philanthropic senator raked in $86,000 from the People's Constitution Commission. That, definitely, was no negotiating tactic.
And if you didn't know, now you know.
Compulsorily acquire Stake Bank Island.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
This government used its power to take land from a Belizean developer to give to a foreign company.
And those are things that the U.S. government takes really seriously.
Washington noticed. They've been watching. So when the Prime Minister went begging for help,
especially for the United States, we need equipment, we need intelligence.
But Washington's response? The United States invited 12 Central American and Caribbean heads of state to discuss border security. John Briceño was not invited. What does that tell you?
They're willing to be aggressive and do whatever they can against these individuals who are taking these actions in these countries.
Secretary Rubio have the Department of State assess the current state of rule of law, judicial independence, and property rights protections in Belize.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The Bar Association of Belize has a new president following its annual general meeting this week. Attorney Jose Alpuche will serve as president, while former President William Lindo has now been elected vice president. The position of treasurer will be held by Darinka Munoz, and Kimberly Wallace will serve as secretary. 3 additional members were elected to the executive committee, and they are senior counsel Andrew Marshalik, Esteban Pereira, and Emmanuel Williams. Meanwhile, this past week has seen many different Reef-related activities. Reef Week this year focused on connecting communities and empowering youths, as the theme states. As the week continues to a close, the Reef Fair was held today in Belize City. Our very own Courtney Menzies was there and has this story.
Reef Week is almost at the end, but today saw one of the grand events planned, the Reef Fair at Memorial Park. The fair comprises several educational booths from various NGOs and organizations aimed at protecting and conserving Belize's marine space. Each booth's main goal is to educate those who stop by, particularly the students, on the work that they do. We spoke to some of them about how they help with megafauna, crocodiles, finfish, and even sargassum.
For Reef Week, the theme, as you know, is Free Reef, Free Roots, connecting communities and empowering youth. So for the past week, we have been doing some presentation in various coastal community schools, 2 in Belize City, 1 in Placencia. And we're out here today to also educate the youths about the importance of marine megafauna in the Belize Barrier Reef system. We have the misconception that sharks are scary, so we educate the youths and even the general public about facts over fear. So that's what we're doing. One of the activities we're doing out here today, also educating everybody about our overall research and conservation activities in Belize.
Today, we are obviously talking about crocodiles and how to coexist with them, because there's a lot of misguided facts as well as a lot of misguided beliefs about crocodiles. But this is Reef Week, right? So we want to talk about the importance with the reef, and in that, the protection of the reef also goes with the protection of mangroves. Mangroves are highly important, and the crocodiles here in Belize, they really utilize the mangroves for hunting as well as for protection as well. But if we get rid of the mangroves, that gets rid of a very large source of the prey of crocodiles, or source of diet, which is fish. If there's no more fish, guess what's going to happen with the crocodiles? That's actually going to increase encounters between crocodiles and humans. If there is an issue with the crocodile, you can go ahead and contact the CRC. We have an amazing volunteer here in Belize City. His name's Austin. He is the Belize version of Steve Irwin. Like, he's amazing. And so we do have someone to go ahead and look at any issues that are with crocodiles. But one of the things that we're trying to really educate people is, just because you see a crocodile doesn't mean it needs to be relocated. These animals can coexist with us, similar how they used to coexist with all the other Mesoamerican societies pre the Maya, and even with the Maya. A lot of our fear stems from colonization and European settlement from the 1500s, and that's something that we've been educating to a lot of people here, is that a lot of our fear is actually based on a lot of misguided facts that stem from 400 years ago.
Black and Marine Science is an American-based nonprofit really trying to change the face of who people see as scientists. But here in Belize, we have the BIMS Institute, which is our research and technology arm, really trying to change who people see as scientists and really do more innovation. And the project that we're here with Reef Week is our Bloom to Business project. Bloom to Business are really taking sargassum and turning it into sustainable business products. So we know that sargassum, usually it gets to the beach, it starts to decompose and stink. What we do is go out and collect it prior to it beaching, preventing it from ever getting to the beach, and we turn it into different things like this sargassum artwork. So we actually take it, wash it, press it, and turn it into art. We also are piloting a sand supplement, where we actually take the sargassum, dry it down, and then we can mix it with sand. And then also some other things that we are still developing, like fertilizers and weed killer. So again, really trying to say this doesn't have to be a waste. This can be a resource.
Even though it's Reef Week, and this is one of the culminating activities for Reef Week at the Reef Fair, we do have on display and we're engaging with students and adults on the work that WCS is doing, which is both marine and terrestrial. So today we're looking at some of the key finfish species that we have students identifying, trying to identify those species and engaging with them and letting them know that these are some of what we protect. So it's not just finfish though, we also protect the conch and the queen conch and also the spiny lobster. Both seasons are closed right now. But on the terrestrial side, we're also engaging about fire because right now we're in the fire season in Belize, which runs from February 15 to June 15. And so we're looking at highlighting ridge to reef.
And in terms of raising awareness, the fair was a success.
I feel like the fair was very successful. We have, I counted about 10 to 15 schools, various from standard 4, 5, and 6 visiting all the booths. All the students were very interested and fascinated and engaged. They were very interested in learning about the various props that we have here. So, for example, we had displays of the various jaws, the Caribbean reef shark along with the bull shark, and they were learning more about the sharks. They were learning the various type of species of sharks in Belize, along with sea turtles in the Mesoamerica Reef.
The fair has been amazing. We have had so many students from around Belize City, and it has been really amazing to interact. And the kids, they've been asking a lot of questions, really interacting. It's been a lot of fun.
We have had like literally hundreds of students coming since morning, asking questions, learning. Some of them already know some of the information that we're sharing, but many of them, it's new for them. So I think our objective is being met during this event.
Reef Week ends tomorrow with a fundraising event, Run for the Reef, a Mangrove Challenge Award ceremony, and a few other items. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
Meanwhile, the Belize National Fire Service received an assortment of equipment today from the U.S. Embassy. The embassy donated handheld radios, oxygen tanks, Hearst rescue tools, cutting saws, portable pumps, and full firefighting gear in an effort to enhance the operational readiness of firefighters and improve their ability to respond effectively to emergencies and to safeguard lives. The donation is valued at $3 million. And it's an art exhibition featuring women, curated by women and examining how they balance the scales in their lives. The Institute of Creative Arts is holding its launch for the Women in Art Exhibition 2026 tonight at the Bliss Center. We stopped in today to get a sneak peek of the setup. Our very own Jo Marie Lanza has this story.
This year features a total of 105 female artists, their highest number of submissions ever received for women in art. The director for the Institute of Creative Arts, Kim Vasquez, says it is a huge milestone for them, as they have seen the show not only grow over the years, but also diversify in terms of the countless forms of art being featured.
Every year we put out this call. We try to be as inclusive as possible. We let everyone know that you don't need any experience. And we were pleasantly rewarded this year by having a lot of young emerging artists participate. Some of them as young as only 8 years old, but they're enrolled. And so a few of them are enrolled in an arts program in San Ignacio. We have older women in their 60s, in their 70s participating. Some of them have taken up painting later on in life. We have the cultural artisans as well. Just about everything is here, you know, crochet, photography, digital art, graphic design, fashion. It's all here at Women in Art 2026. And also this year, we must mention that we had over 26 women writers and poets participating as well. That's another huge milestone. Every year we encourage writers and poets to participate as well. But this year, again, so many new and emerging writers sending in their work, and we just absolutely had to put an accompanying publication along with the exhibit this year to celebrate that milestone.
From paintings to photography to crochet and even a bit of poetry. The hardest task of setting up the exhibition is finding a way to not only display the art, but also to tell a story. One of the curators, Sadie Moore, told us how they managed to capture that and bring to life their vision for the exhibition.
The sheer magnitude and the value of the pieces was extremely impressive this year. We had over 25 literary contributions, or contributors actually, poets and writers. So I more or less dealt with the literary submissions, and Gayla and I collaborated on the painting. So we had over 115 pieces come in where we had to decide how we're going to tell a story, what pieces would fall into those themes, and to tell the story as cohesively as possible, not only with the writing, but also with the painting, with the performance, with the fashion. Gail and I, we decided on a vision where we were going to tell a story of transformation. So if you were to walk from the beginning of the exhibition, you would find more childlike, colorful pieces, which speaks to your birth, right? Which speaks to a young girl, and then you move into adolescence, coming into your own, understanding your body, understanding what your value is to society, deciding where you want to be sexually, your sexuality, all of those things. So you see that story being told, and then we go into your transformation into more of a mature woman, where we talk about menopause and all the things that comes with it, all the trials that you go through, a girl's first period, and then you go into menopause. So all of those stories we're trying to tell with some of the pieces, because each one of them has those themes with it. So we try to fit them in to that storyline.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.
The opening began at 7, and the exhibition will remain open for a month. It features poetry from Channel 7's Jo Marie Lanza and a short story by Courtney Menzies. And that's all we have for you on 7 News on this Friday night. Thank you so much for watching. I am Miriam Abdul-Kawi. You can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a good night and a great weekend, and join us back here on Monday at the same time. Have a good night, folks.